Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson 01 X-Force, and this is my DC comic pull list for the week of September 6, 2011, and today is the 7th. It is Thursday. And first up here for my DCs is the much anticipated Grant Morrison run, issue number 1 of the new Action Comics, and of course, this is Superman. First up, I know a lot of people really didn't like the initial cover that they showed. I myself was a big fan, and I definitely didn't like this cover as much as the cover I originally thought it was going to be. You know, the one with Superman in his jeans, and he's holding up a giant rock, and you only see his face. I think you see glowing eyes for when he's about, do his heat vision or something. But it was a really awesome cover, and a lot of people were just ragging on it, but I really liked it. And I think because of the negative feedback they were getting, they ended up not going with that cover and going with this one, which is too bad because for me, this cover is just, it's okay. For a first issue, I was really hoping to get that beautiful artwork of that they first showed of Superman. But it's just a cover, right? Still disappointed that they changed it. And even though I did like the comic, yeah, I didn't like the cover too much. But get to what really matters, and that's the story. Grant Morrison, great. He's always good, and I've really been looking forward to him writing Superman again. I loved All-Star Superman. I thought it was a great read. And I'm really excited that he's going to be doing the new origin of Clark Kent and Superman. First up, though, it's $3.99, and I'm curious. Detective Comics was $2.99, so I wonder why Action Comics was $3.99, and it wasn't. All these are normal-sized issues. Now, of course, this is a huge week for DC. This is truly the first week of the new number ones. And I picked up quite a few of them. Not all of them, but I did pick up an extra one and add it to my saver. I really was thinking about picking up Men of War. It looked really good, and it was an expensive comic. It was, I think, the most expensive one to come out. But it was really cool. It had like 2 stories inside. The artwork was really neat. I haven't read a military-based action comic in a long time. It being the retelling and remodernizing of Sergeant Rock. So, but you know what? I had to make choices, and that just wasn't on my choice list. But Action Comics obviously was, even though it's disappointed in the cover and the price. I really liked the read, and it was a good start. Now, this wasn't my favorite comic of the week, but it definitely was one of my favorites. It's a really strong beginning. I do like the art style. I don't think at this point I like the art style as much as I like the art style in All-Star Superman. Obviously different artist. But I do love the writing. Grant Morrison, I think, is starting really strong. Now, some people might be questioning this new Superman. Obviously, there's the whole thing going on legally with the classic Superman versus the DC modern Superman. So obviously it's probably one of the decisions they made to redo and reimagine the new fresh origins of Superman. It's not the Superman we remember. It's definitely the same Superman, but it's edgier. This Superman is going to, it pretty clear it's going to be throughout edgier. He's got a little more attitude. I think it's a good thing. He's younger now. He's a lot younger. So this is more like the beginning of Superman. So he's not Superboy exactly, but he's almost Superboy. Like he's just a little bit older than we know Superboy to be. But he definitely has more attitude on him. I think it fits well. And definitely Grant Morrison writes it well. The strongest part of this comic is for sure the writing. Like I said, the artwork is good. A couple parts were questionable, but it's just growing on me. I think it's going to take more than one issue for me to really start appreciating this particular art style with Superman. I don't mind what he's wearing in this issue because it makes perfect sense, and actually I enjoyed it. It's nice to get Superman looking a little different. Now, there's another comic that I read this week with Superman in it, and that was Swamp Thing. And some people are write and draw the new Superman costume really well, and some people don't. And I think that's going to be a problem with this new costume. Now, I'm not talking about the costume here in Action Comics. Obviously, he doesn't have his Superman modern costume yet, but you know, all the people that are writing the new Superman, the new timeline, they're writing, you know, they're drawing the Superman costume as it's going to be. And some people do it really well, and some people don't. So that is, I think, going to be a problem for most readers that are trying to get used to the new Superman. But obviously, this is Action Comics, and this is 5 years prior to the current timeline of the new DCU. Action Comics and the new Justice League that came out next week, the first two to come out are the only two comics that I can think of that are the older timeline, the 5 years prior. So, very good. Grant Morrison definitely is doing a great job. I think the artist team is doing a good job. I think it's just going to take me, like I said, another issue to get used to it. But again, my same complaint with the Justice League. It should have been bigger. It should have been more. I think it was way too quick. I read this really fast, and I just felt like I felt underwhelmed with the amount that was in the comic. Even though I liked it and I love the writing, you know, I know you can't do that with every new 52. You can't make them all extra size issues, but you know, the big ones, Justice League, Action Comics, Detective Comics, they all should be just a few more pages so that we can really get flowing with these new characters and these new story arcs. Just my opinion. But Superman, Action Comics, #1, definitely a good comic and a great start to what looks to be one of the best runs with Superman in a long time. Good comic and great writing, and I'm looking forward to continuing this. Next up is the other big one of the week, and this is #1, Batman Detective Comics. Okay. I'm going to save most of my praise for this because this is my comic of the week, and I will, like I said, weekly I'm going to be doing an individual of the posting of the comic of the week. Man, even though it was not an exercise issue like I just mentioned, but it kind of didn't matter with this one. And this reminds me that if a comic is written, you know, really well, knowing that you're only going to be reading 32 pages and not making you feel like, okay, I need some more. They make you want more, but you didn't need more to be satisfied. That's the difference for me. Action Comics made me think that I wanted more now, but Batman made me feel that I read a really good comic and I got, you know, enough of it, but I just want really more. You know, I guess the difference is, I just said it again, Action Comics, I needed more, and Batman, I wanted more. Okay, this is the team that was on Batman before. So basically, we did a switcheroo. The people that were handling Batman are now Detective, and the writer, at least, that was handling Detective is now with a new great artist doing Batman. So most people are really looking forward to Scott Snyder, including myself, for the new Batman, because before, Detective was the best. Even though I was really liking Batman, I've been reading Batman since issue 700, and I was enjoying the heck out of it. And but you know, my favorite was Detective, was the Scott Snyder, you know, starting with Black Mirror, going all the way to the end. So, like everyone else, I was anticipating that the most. But I still was looking forward to Detective, because it's Detective, you know, it's Detective Comics. How can you not want to read it? Plus, I know the team, and I like the team quite a bit. But I was not prepared to how well they were going to make this first issue. You know, again, I won't say too much, because I'll say the rest in the detailed Comic of the Week video, but the Joker. Okay, this is the way I like Joker. Joker scares me. I'm generally scared of the Joker in this comic book. You know, a lot of times he's written to be entertaining and definitely crazy, but he's genuinely scary. I mean, I'm scared of him. If I was in this comic book, I would run really fast the opposite direction. This is the scariest and most intense Joker that I've read in a while, and that being praised of how they're doing Joker, they're doing Batman Bruce Wayne just as good. I mean, wow. I was really blown away with this comic. I knew it was going to be good, but I really didn't expect it to be this good. Yeah, I'll stop there. I could keep on going with this. Wow. Great beginning to Detective. Well, they did a fantastic job. Okay. Next up here is Batgirl, #1. Gail Simone is the reason why I'm picking up this book. You know, that, and of course, I'm a Batgirl fan. Now, after the first issue, I am not missing Stephanie Brown. Now, what I mean is, I love Stephanie Brown. And I've already, you know, I know that at some point she's going to be put in somewhere in the DCU, so I'm not worried about it. And I love Barbara Gordon, and I love her as Oracle. So I was already all mentally ready for the new Batgirl. So that's what I mean is I don't miss Stephanie Brown, because, wow, this is really good. Barbara Gordon as Batgirl just feels right. I can't wait till Stephanie Brown comes back, but I see why they made the decision, and I'm totally cool with it. Maybe she'll be the spoiler again or something like that. Now, here's the question I'm sure a lot of you have with the continuity. Okay, it's Batgirl. What happened? Why have they erased everything going on with the Killing Joke? What happened? Why? Okay, well, here it is. First of all, I do want to mention that they kind of gave you something, a little teaser, and that would be the last issue of Batman Incorporated. You saw Barbara Gordon. She was, you know, she was in a computer in her avatar sort of thing, and she was running around with her legs as Batgirl, because obviously, you know, it's an avatar. But it did make me think, oh, okay, maybe they're getting us used to the idea of Barbara Gordon running around being Batgirl. Made sense, and it worked really well in that comic. So this is how it was with this. You open it up, and first of all, she's younger, guys. The continuity is kind of like changed. But I will say this, I'm going to do some spoilers here, but the Killing Joke is still cannon fodder here. It's still a foundation of her character. Yes, she was shot by the Joker. Yes, it did make her not be able to use her legs. They actually have a panel in here of that, of her being shot, of that scene from the Killing Joke. And, you know, she wakes up like she was dreaming it. And she says something like, but the bullet didn't beat me. It didn't stop me. Something like that. Okay, so it touches on it, but then it quickly moves away and gets going to, you know, Barbara Gordon now, what's going on. Now she's a lot younger, okay? She is young Batgirl, and that was important for them to do, and I totally get that, and I'm on board, and I think it was correct. But I don't know if they're going to ever go back and talk about the Killing Joke part again. I think this is all they're probably going to explain, and I doubt if it'll come back. Maybe if she deals with the Joker or something. But this is what I'm getting out of it. Again, this isn't official. This is what I've taken from the story. Understanding how they're changing the continuity, but keeping the most important parts. To me, this is how I feel that they were explaining it. This is a younger Batgirl. This Batgirl is younger. This is not the Oracle. This is not the older, wiser Oracle. This is a younger, fresher, but very experienced young Barbara Gordon. Yes, she was shot by the Joker. Yes, everything that happened in The Killing Joke happened, yes. But all the stuff that happened afterwards was limited. That happened, but just not as much. Like, everything that happened when she was shot, yes, is verbatim exactly what happened. But after that, she became Oracle. She did all this superhero stuff. She just did many, many, many years of being Oracle and being in a wheelchair. I think what they did is cut that way down. All the stuff after The Killing Joke, the bullet didn't do as much damage as it did in the last DCU. Last DCU, she was permanently paralyzed, and that was it, and she was never going to walk again. Okay, that's not what happened in this new storyline. The Killing Joke happened, she shot exactly the same, but the bullet didn't do as much damage, and she was able to slowly get the use of her legs back, and I believe, you know, she did some Oracle stuff, but it was very limited, and she is now back, and she is strong and much younger. So that is what I got from this first issue. And I thought it was a pretty smart way to do it. So you're keeping what everyone loves the best about that story and that continuity from The Killing Joke. And you're getting some of the Oracle stuff, but you're limiting it, and you're not making it as long and as big as what happened, you know, in the last DCU. So it's just very controlled, and she got better a lot. You know, it was never a permanent thing of her being paralyzed, and she got better eventually, and she's now still young and still fresh and still Batgirl. So I thought it was handled well. I think Gail Simone did a great job. I think the artist that is paired up with her is the greatest pairing of an artist with Gail Simone, period. I mean, this is a little early, but I like this artwork with her storytelling. There are a few artists I really liked that wrote that teamed up with her for Birds of Prey, but there were a lot of artist teams that teamed up with her that I didn't really care for too much. It was really all about her writing that kept me with Birds of Prey. So I really appreciate this artist, beautiful artwork that seems to just really fit really well with Gail Simone's writing. So this was really close to pick of the week for me, but it was edged out by Detective Comics. But really, quite a great comic. In fact, my two favorites are Batgirl and Detective Comics. Just home runs right out of the park right away. Okay, next up here is Swamp Thing, #1, and this is the first of the two books from Scott Snyder that is from DC. I do want to mention that I will be reading the Image Scott Snyder, which is called Severed. My comic store said they would give me the first issue. It's just not getting here. And eventually, if I start getting the second issue and stuff, I might go ahead and get the first issue. But I've really been anticipating that story by Scott Snyder with Image, because it looks really creepy and looks really, really like well done. But at this point, I don't have it, so I'm not going to. Hopefully, I'll get them, but we'll see. But for now, I got Scott Snyder and Swamp Thing #1. Really strong. Now, I did mention this before when I was talking about the whole Superman costume stuff. This is where I saw Superman drawn in a way that I can see it being a problem with his new uniform. First of all, I like the artist. Okay, this is nothing against the artist at all. This is simply me saying that some artists are going to do the new costumes really well, and some are going to struggle with it. Batman will be easy because Batman pretty much looks the same. It's really Superman and a few other characters that are going to be the ones that I think are going to be struggling a little bit with the artists to try and get the feel. Especially Superman. I mean, Superman's so iconic. So, basically, in the beginning of this book, you have 3 big superheroes, shown. And you got Superman, and you have, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Batman, and then Aquaman. And Superman comes and to see our hero and talk with him. So right away I was like, oh gosh, I have to close my eyes. That Superman is really hard to look at. First of all, the S is huge. I understand they need to make it different. They need to change up his look. They want to make him different and fresh. At the same time, they want to stay away from all the legal stuff. Okay, I got that. But that S is just blinding. I mean, I'm blinded by the giant S in this book. And he's not even in the book very long. But it's just enough that I'm thinking, all right, I love Superman, so I'm going to be hard on it, but I need artists to get a hold of how they're going to be drawing Superman. This new Superman with the new Superman costume. I've seen Jim Lee do it, and it looked beautiful. Well, of course, he designed it. It looked fantastic. But this artist could not do it or well enough to make me not cringe a little bit when Superman was in this book. Okay, that's just me, though. But let's get back to the main thing here. Swamp Thing. It was a really good first issue. A lot of character development here. It's really just a first issue. You get a feel of the creepiness that the villains that Swamp Thing's going to have to deal with, and those parts, like with there's this whole whirlwind coming in, it's blowing these fossils up in the air and stuff. I felt anticipation of the creepiness, and that's Scott Snyder, right? Scott Snyder just writes really well when it comes to horror. I love his horror writing, and I love his character development, the way he develops his characters. Really, really well done. So first off, this is brilliantly written. Now, it's just a first issue, and so I knew that. So it was just a taste of what's coming on. Because, I'm going to say it. I like my Swamp Thing in the swamp. Okay, I want my Swamp Thing in the swamp. Now, the cover, he's in the swamp. But not in the actual book. I'm sure we're going to get there. I'm sure Swamp Thing is going to go into the swamp and stay there. But I like my Swamp Thing that feels, like it's not part of humanity, and he's just part of the earth, and he wants to be part of the earth, and he defends the earth from humans, nature, that kind of stuff. I like that kind of Swamp Thing. I like the brooding, powerful Swamp Thing that is misunderstood by the world and stuff. I like that. So I feel that's where we're going to eventually go. We're just not there yet, and I think it's because of everything that happened in Brightest Day, where this character is. I think we have to, get him back to the classic Swamp Thing that we all like. So that was my only thing, but I have to give him time to do that. So I liked it. I thought the artwork was good. I did not like how the artist drew Superman, but I really liked the character development of our main character here, and I love the anticipation of what kind of evil is going to face Swamp Thing in the future. Well written, solid artwork. I just couldn't stand the looking at Superman. Okay, so I thought this was really good. A good start, and I have faith in Scott Snyder, so I know this is going to be a good book. Okay. This was one that I didn't initially have in my saver. This is Stormwatch #1. I originally had it in my saver, and then I was making cuts, so I took it out. But when I went in to pick up my new comics, I wanted to look at all the comics that were on the shelf that I knew weren't in my saver. And the ones I wanted to look at the most for DC was Stormwatch and Batwing. And I would have picked up Batwing. Now initially I didn't want any part of Batwing because I had so many Bat books. I have every Bat book but Batwing, so I really did not want another one. I thought, look, if I'm ever going to add more comics, I can't have so many Bat books. And there were a lot of them, and there were so many I just wanted to at least read the first story arc. So the only one that I didn't get was Batwing. Even though I was interested, I just had to figure out what not to get. And that's too bad because I think it's going to be really good. What I've seen, it looked really interesting. And the reason I didn't really add it is because I figured I'd just pick it up. Now, I knew it wouldn't be popular at first, so I didn't think I'd have any trouble picking up the first, story arc. But here I was wrong. I think what's happening is, in fact, that's what the owner told me. He didn't think anyone would buy it, so he didn't order very many books. But when he made that decision, everyone wanted Batwing, so he didn't have any extras, and he had a lot of people wanting more. So if Batwing comes back in, I think I'm going to have to pick it up. But if not, I'm not going to worry about it because I'll just pick up the trade. I think DC is going to be a lot better now with the new 52, with the first trades that come out. They always took forever for trades, so I'm hoping at least they're going to be a lot quicker now. But so I didn't pick up Batwing, but I did pick up Stormwatch, and the reason is I just like Jean. Jean he's a great character, and I was really interested in the Martian Manhunter. But I have to say, the Midnighter and Apollo, really cool characters. The artwork is beautiful, and that's really what really pushed me over the edge to pick it up. And the writing was really solid too. This is a really solid book and a very interesting first issue. Now I'm not sure ultimately where they're going to go with this, but I'm definitely on board with first story arc. But if it starts to go in a direction that I'm not as interested in, and I won't say anything at this point because I don't want to spoil anyone who wants to read it, but if it goes in a certain direction, I don't know if I'll continue it. But for now, at least, the story and the artwork is quite compelling, and I'm definitely on board for Stormwatch for now. All right. I would definitely recommend it too. Very interesting. And very good action. And like I said, beautiful artwork. And I also picked up a couple trades. First up here, I picked up the trade for Red Hood Lost Days, Judd Winnick, and it was. I read this one already. I got 2 trades. I only read one, but man, really good. I've really been craving Red Hood stuff lately. Some Jason Todd is what I've been craving. Some well-written Jason Todd. And anticipation for his new ongoing series, I picked this up. And of course, the Batman Under the Red Hood is one of my favorites animated movies. And I've been wanting to read this for a while. I just didn't pick up the singles. But I picked up the trade, and man, it was really, really good. I think I'll do a review on this. And I'm getting kind of long here, so I'll be quick. The one I didn't read yet, that I'm reading here next, I did glance through it though, is Teen Titans Ravager Fresh Hell. Ravager's a character that I've always been interested in, and I've only really read her in Teen Titans. So I was very interested to read more about her. That's why I got this from the same person I got Red Hood. So I got a really good price for both of them. So I'm looking forward to reading this. And with that said, those are my DC books of the week. And I will be posting my pick of the week very quickly. And hey guys, let me know what books you really like from DC. Which are your favorite issue number 1s so far? And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.